Before I get started today, thought I'd give you a quick what's going on. Today being the 6th, the 6th day of April 2017. I'm gonna do a quick deal, tell you where I've been, and I'm off for the next 4 days, and I'll do my best to update everything. Alright, at this moment I've got all my wiring done. I've actually run the motor. I got a few more things to do. I got some more relays I want to put in to run the fuel pump, run the ignition system, run the starter, a few other things to make it more I guess reliable. In this box, of course, is the ECM. I've got my transmission hooked up here. Here's the telecom cables for it. And of course, you can see how long they are. And of course, they go to the tip-tonic shifter. And of course, here is the TCM. You got to have this if you're going to run this transmission. I hope to have it all taken care of before long. That's going to be a couple of videos down the road. What I'd like to do right now is tell you what I've done in the last couple of nights. Basically, I've installed a fuel tank and a fuel filter here, braided line. Got your feed and got your return. PVC, excuse me, not PVC, but vacuum for the brake booster going up forward. You can see up here I've got the heater core lines, and they'll be hooked up as well. Down here, basically nice and clean. I got more. That one cable you see coming through is the original transmission shifter for the automatic. I chose an MR2 with an automatic because basically I'm old, tired of shifting gears, things of that nature. Here's up front. I've kind of cleaned this up a little bit, installed the battery. You can tell by my test light I'm actually checking a few things. I'm integrating MR2 wiring harness with a Audi wiring harness. Oh, it's a little fun. Now, as you probably are aware, someone painted this black car black, but it was red at one time, so you're going to bear with me because that's one of the last things we're going to do, and boy, I've got some plans for that as well. But I still want it to have that sleeper look. So, hey, let's go underneath real quick. I'm going to point a few things out. Let me get my little pointer stick. Let me crawl down here and get my fat self down here. You know, this is tough for me, being as old as I am. Okay, up front of the car is basically your normal MR2. I will upgrade the brake system on this thing. It will have some, as fast as I think it might go, or as quick or powerful. You can only go as fast as you can stop, so that's what I'm gonna do. Now this one does have electric power steering. Thank God it has that. MR2s normally don't have that. They do in the latter years, and some of them even have ABS brakes. As you can see here, the emergency brake, I've tied it off here. They're actually here and here, and you can see because of the stretch of the chassis and the back end has been pushed out 10.5 inches. If I decide to go back with the original MR2 emergency brake system, I'll just have to extend this, and of course, let me turn around and go this direction. And basically all that'll hook up. Now in this fuel tank is the Audi fuel pump. I've integrated it into it using the stock fuel sending and the fuel monitoring sending unit. Alright, let's go on back. This is what you get for doing years and years of fabricating and building things and running a muffler shop and building race cars. You basically just love to fabricate, and if it don't work, we make it work. I'm gonna give a shout out to the punch buggies. .com, one of the guys on YouTube. We kind of think alike. Okay, I've used flat steel here to get the length that I needed from here to there. I used an angle piece here to give me my strength, and we're going to go on further back. This is the fuel inlet for the fuel tank. I've used the factory fuel tank because basically it's only 10.5 gallons. Well, actually about 11 gallons. Not a lot of fuel for a 4.2. But anyway, all my fuel lines are done. This line here needs to be failed to hook it up yet, and this is the vent for the fuel tank, and it vents front and rear. I'm sorry for the camera, but this is kind of new to me. Now here's the original shifter right here for the automatic. I may integrate some of that into the actual shifting of this thing. Now, the motor itself is nice and square. You do that by putting a level on this and squaring the body, and everything gets square. When you build a car from scratch or from the bottom, you start with basically the foundation of a square floor. My floor is not exactly square, but I do compensate a little bit because of all the cars I've built. Here's what I did with the mounts. Here, basically, I can remove this bolt here, which is a nut welded on the other side, and lift the motor straight up, which should be a lot easier to do than anything else. The exhaust, of course, is going to run down. I'll probably use a Grand National muffler or whatever. The transmission lines are failed to be hooked up yet because there's going to be a transcooler put in the side along with 2 other radiators. But anyway, this gives you a look at what's underneath here. Of course, this brake system is going to be changed out. After the motor is run with coolant in it, fuel, I'll do the axles. And when I do the axles, I got a special way I do those. I don't really machine anything because when you get into the machining, you get into softening the steel. Believe me, I've broke enough axles in my life to understand that you need to go with hardened steel if you can possibly do that. Look at the room that's in there. Man, I like that. Still, the blunt of the weight, it's all middle for a mid-engine. It is still fitting in there quite well. Right up here, I'm going to show you something that's kind of neat. This little rod right here that I'm putting my finger on, this is a gear-driven rod for the AC unit. Also, there was a gear-driven rod here, but I've capped it off for the power steering that was on the Audi. The Audis in later years used everything that's pretty much gear-driven off the cam chain. Now, of course, the cam chains on this thing, there's 4 of them, and they're on the back of the engine. And Lord, let's hope we don't ever have problems with that. Originally, the 4.2s were up here with a timing belt, and of course, that was always fun. And then they started going with a chain for a little bit more long life on it. But anyway, the AC unit is here. It's integrated into the block. It almost looks like. Sorry for the light, but I'll try to get a little better look. But there's a better look at it. Now, the power steering was right in this area. Of course, we removed that. Maybe that'll free up a couple of horsepower, I know. But anyway, I'm going to get busy and do a few things today. And I'm going to thank everybody that subscribed. And it's going to be a nice journey on this little thing. Hope to stick with you. I don't plan on going anywhere. Trying to retire. I spent 30 years as an aircraft mechanic at some place I can't really mention, but I've done all kinds of stuff. One gentleman asked me for a background. I've done a lot of stuff. Okay. I'm basically the kind of person I like to build stuff. I don't want to build something that someone else has had. I've done that. I've done the hot rods. I've done the motorcycles. I've done all that stuff. What I like to do is actually build things no one else has done because that's the only thing that gives me motivation. I don't like restoring cars back to their original whatever, so I don't do that anymore. I guess I like boldly going where no man has gone before kind of thing. But anyway, stick with me, guys. It's getting interesting. See you.